Okay, so I have some T alpha 1, 10 milligrams, Thymus alpha 1. It's a peptide for research purposes only. I then have 1 ml syringe, some bacteriostatic water, which is basically water with a tiny bit of something that makes sure it doesn't grow any bacteria, and some rubbing alcohol with paper towel. So, the scoop is that my inflammation in my rectum is ebb and flow. So, I sometimes think it's getting better. I think it's like I up my game or I change my game and then I get like an improvement and then it starts getting bad again. So today was a bit worse than yesterday. So I have decided that I'm going to up my game again, because what would you do to try to save your rectum and get hooked back up? So I'm going to use a expensive product here for research purposes only. And yeah, we're going to see if we can get a healing effect. Okay, I'm just going to pop this top off. Just pop the top off my water. I'm just going to get some rubbing alcohol on my paper towel and give this a little rub down. Okay, so I'm just going to rub that. Make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, another pop top, so I pop that off, and I'm also going to rub that little guy. So with peptides, you want to be really careful not to shake them around. They're a little bit fragile. Found out that storage is apparently best for them in the freezer. And you can apparently freeze them once they're reconstituted, but it was recommended that you put them with some like bovine like serum, like protein serum or something, and I was like, if you're gonna freeze it, that was recommended. So anyways, the shelf life is short. Once it's reconstituted, they say it's going to be about 2 weeks, which I'm guessing is a conservative estimate. I'm going to use it for 3 weeks. So this is a 10 milligrams of the TA1, and so in every milligram there's 1,000 micrograms, and the dosing is recommended 500 micrograms a day, so that would be 20 doses. So if I put in just trying to think if I want to put in, I've seen it where people put in 4 mils of water, or they put in 2 mils of water, and then you're going to just divide that by 20, and that is how much you're going to pull. Another thing I think that would be prudent, because every time you do something the first time, it's better to start low and slow, as they say. So I'm actually going to take a half dose the first day, and then a half dose the last day, the 21st day, when I'm weaning off. So that's my plan. So I'm going to actually just do 250 micrograms, and then 500 for all days into the last day, and then do the last 250. 3-week treatment. Okay, so I'm going to pop this in this needle. Now, this is a very small needle, and I noticed when other people were constituting, are you watching through the camera? I noticed when other people were reconstituting this, they would have a thick needle to reconstitute it with, and then the small needle for injection. So I'm hoping this is going to work. So, oh, this looks very easy to pop through. It's like a rubber. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that in. And then we're going to go upside down, and I'm going to pull this back. Now, I could have actually displaced air in there first, which probably would have been a better idea. I could have. Next pull, I'll do it where I displace the air, and you can see the difference on that. Okay, so there I'm at 1 mil. Now, another thing is, I saw that people would put this one in at an angle so that I'm not like hammering water down on the peptides that are fragile, but it's just gonna kind of gently flow into them. So I'm going to push this in through the center, but on an angle. And you can see actually I don't even have to push it in, it's just sucking that back. It's a vacuum. So I have to decide if I want to do 2 mils or 4 mils here, but okay, so rather than getting air displaced in there this time, I'm going to pull this back to 250. I'm going to try to pull this back. I don't know why I said 250. Got distracted there. And I'm going to displace the air. And then this should suck up really nicely. Honestly, that didn't really pull up as well as I thought it would. There's a big air bubble in it. Once the air gets to the top, you can always actually pull it back farther than you need to too, and then just push it back. Okay. So now I got 2 mils. This is actually a really cool top. It's like a rubber that like pulls back together. Okay, so there it is. The vacuum's working. Now I'm thinking I should probably use a new needle just to a fresh one for my skin. I don't know if that's really necessary, but okay. So now that that's in there, just trying to decide if I want to do 4 mils for that. I think I will do 4 mils for that. Okay, so we're going again. Okay, I'll be back. I'm going to do 2 more of those and then I'll be back. So I'm just going to gently roll this. Just going to gently roll this to dissolve the, you can see it's still in there. Gotta get that to dissolve. So I'm just gonna give that one more clean because I've been popping in and out of it. Okay, now I pulled back 1 unit, so it was like this. I pulled back 1 unit. I'm going to displace that air. I'm going to displace that, and then I'm going to pull back 1 unit. And that looks really good, like there's no air in it. I have never injected myself before. Let's just make sure there's no air. Okay. So, you can put this in your belly, you can put this in your arm. I'm gonna put it in the top part of my rear end. And I don't know if you want to watch that. I don't really care if I show you, but I'm going to spare you. Okay, shut that off. Okay, so I went in after I took my little alcohol rubbing napkin and rubbed it, kind of hopefully spread it around a bit, make sure it's not infected. I've had so many needles and they don't bother me whatsoever, but I've never had to do it myself. And that kind of weirded me out. So I asked my son to do it. poor kid. He at first said no, so that was fine. I wasn't going to make him do it. But then he's like, oh, yeah, sure. So anyways, he did it like a champ.